thought you didn't want me to put anything next to this machine.
I mean, I'm a little nervous about the machine, but it's okay, though.
Okay.
Just don't spill it.
I'm going to do my best.
All right, well,
Okay.
we're back.
Okay, yay.
Here we are. We're here.
Okay.
Here. Cheers.
Cheers. Also, we're not alcoholics. I just want to point that out.
Yeah, but who cares if maybe
we're not.
We are.
I think that it's just a little bit more fun to have a beer.
I agree. Everything is a little bit more fun with a beer. although I have a tendency to get a little on the heavier side when I drink too much beer.
I personally just don't drink very often, so.
Well, let's keep.
If it sounds like we're drinking a lot, we're not.
If we keep this to once a week, we're
going
fine.
to be at least once a week that I
then
drink,
we're fine.
which I don't usually do.
Then we're okay.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers. Anyway, oh yeah, sorry.
That was really loud.
We're back. This is episode number 2 now.
Yeah, 2.
And I'm hoping that everyone here can hear a dramatic improvement in our audio quality.
Yeah.
The last episode, we had the same problem as the first lost episode, where the audio for Babs sounded bad and the audio for me sounded fine. And we have these really nice microphones, and we were recording into a really basic $200 handheld audio field recorder that was battery powered. Now we're not. Now we have this nice new Rodecaster Pro. And I think it was worth the investment. I guess we'll tell once we're done with this episode, which that's the hard part about this. We have to do the whole thing.
Which sucks because we're kind of like going on a wing or a limb, or
we're going on a limb here. We're going out on a limb.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, but we're learning.
Yeah.
We're not professionals here.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many people are even going to listen to these episodes right off the bat. So
nobody will.
It's fine.
Yeah.
But I think for our personal preferences, this is going to sound much better. And hopefully it lends to the professionalism of this here podcast, which is, if you are a new listener, according to my wife.
Yes.
My name is Rick Martinelli. I'm a stand-up comedian. This is my wife, Amber,
also
known as
Babs.
Babs.
Yes.
She's Babs. She calls me Ricky. So if you hear us call each other that, we covered this in the first episode, but if you haven't listened to every single episode, we'll do a little bit of a breakdown here in the first few episodes until we have a devoted listener base, which who knows how long that'll take.
It could take a long time.
It could take a while. It probably will take a long time, which is fine. But basically, the format of the podcast is Babs will research a topic that she finds interesting.
Yes.
And I don't know what the topic is.
Yes, that's a surprise.
It's a surprise. So the first time that you are hearing it is the first time that I am hearing it. And my job is to hopefully provide hilarious commentary. So
hilarious.
In this scenario, she is the teacher and I am her smart-ass student.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm just
guess. Yeah, and a fun fact.
Oh, and a fun fact, yeah.
So every episode there will be a subject that I will enlighten everyone with, and you included, and then I will add a fun fact.
Fun fact is always, that's how we're going to end it.
Yeah. So
this has been a long week, dude.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, how was your day?
My day was interesting. My whole week was interesting. We record these on Sundays, and I had shows Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And I had plans on Saturday to go hang out with the boys. And today we brought our youngest daughter to a trampoline park. This has been a long week for me. I did 5 shows in 4 days, all over the place. Los Angeles, Ventura, Hollywood. But honestly, it's crazy because I'm tired. I'm exhausted. Yeah. I'm not even gonna lie. I've been so tired recently because I've been going hard, been doing a lot of comedy.
I think you need to ease up on some stuff.
Yeah, but it's good. But here's the thing, though. This week, even though it was busy and I did a lot of shows and it was a little physically exhausting, and I am pushing myself a little hard. I'm pushing myself to the edge here. This week was great. It was a good week. I had a lot of really good shows.
Good.
I had a killer show at the Comedy Store in the Belly Room, which is always a good feeling. And also, milestone week. I hit my 300th stand-up comedy performance in the last 11 and a half months.
I wanted to push the applause button.
Yeah. Oh, God, no. Don't.
I'm not going to.
We can't do that.
But I wanted to.
Well, because we're not listening on headphones. I think it just plays.
I don't know.
So it would
we're not doing that.
If we did that, we would go back and listen and realize there was applause playing throughout the entire podcast.
Yeah, no.
I'm pretty sure.
We don't want to find out.
No, let's not mess that up. Let's not mess this one up.
Yeah.
Because let's talk about it. Okay, so we try to record 2 episodes at a time so that we can get ahead of
We
things.
used to, oh yeah, no, that's
Well, yeah, what we
okay.
used to do when we first started this podcast, she would do 2 topics in each one singular episode.
Now we're breaking it up.
Now we're breaking it up. And last week we had an amazing episode that was
very good.
So funny. It was we were dying laughing the whole time. It was great. And I messed up and I did not record the audio.
Mm-hmm.
There is a chance that I could salvage it to some degree from the audio that is recording from the camera, but it's not going to sound good.
Yeah.
We're going to put it on. We're going to do a Patreon, and we're going to put these episodes that are lost episodes on the Patreon, and we'll have some special fun stuff on there too. Eventually, when enough people care for that to matter.
We're not there yet.
We're not there yet. We're not even close. But yeah, this was a good week. It was a good week. It was a lot. It was tiring. On Wednesday, I had to drive all the way to Ventura, which was almost a 3-hour drive. And I had to do a show there, and then I had to immediately get in my car, drive from Ventura back to Hollywood to go do a show at the Comedy Store. Luckily, they were both really, really great shows. Every show I had this week was really good.
That's good.
I had some weird experiences throughout the way. I don't want to really get into it. One show in particular was a really good show, but it was just kind of an odd experience. Maybe I'll get into that at some point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not right now, but it was really good. And then last night, Saturday night, I went out and I hung out with my friends, which I don't get an opportunity to do very often these days.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm out all the time doing a lot of stuff, but it's usually always comedy related, and it's usually with other comedians. We have shows. There's like a certain level of like professional obligation when I'm out in the world more often than not these days. And so when I get to go out and just hang out, just like have some drinks with my friends, go eat a dope dinner, it really is like a breath of fresh air. I had a few drinks, and I did wake up a little hungover this morning, which was not a good way to go into taking your kid to a trampoline park, which is the most chaotic environment on the planet. I absolutely cannot recommend that no one take their kids there enough. Like, it is just, don't go there. It's too much. It's overload.
I didn't go, so.
Yeah, you're lucky. You're lucky. You missed out. It was
I did not miss out.
I did 5 shows in 4 days. I drove all over the damn place to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Spending 90 minutes at a trampoline park with a 5-year-old was more exhausting than all of those days combined.
Yeah, that sucks. I actually had a nice relaxing day.
Well, I'm glad. And you had that at the expense of me dealing with the chaos.
Not the expense.
Well, okay, whatever.
Yes. I got the luxury of hanging out by myself. I actually started a new show on HBO. I think it's called Love and Death.
Okay.
I'm excited. It's a real true story about like a love affair and a murder. So
those are 2 of your favorite topics.
Very, very
love
good
affairs
so far.
and murders.
Yeah. It's got one of the Olsen sister. I think her name's like Elizabeth Olsen. And
Wanda.
Yeah, Wanda.
That's what we know her as. Everybody knows her as Wanda.
It's good so far. I like it.
What else is she in? Is she in other things where she's not Wanda? That's all I know her as.
I don't know.
Imagine being the sibling of the Olsen twins.
Yeah, but like that's awesome. Like, would she have been who she is if she hadn't had that like doorway?
Pathway?
I don't know. That little door that was open.
Yeah, true. I mean, yeah. But like,
she looks just like them too. But honestly, she's like such a good actress.
Well, I was just gonna say, I think the ironic thing is like, okay, that had to have been like living in not just one sister's shadow, but 2 twin sister shadows, they're billionaires.
Yeah, I don't know, but probably. Yeah.
Well, they were. I don't know. Maybe one of them blew a lot on coke. I think they were strung out for a while.
I don't know.
I think that was a thing.
I don't know.
The Olsen twins.
One of them like married an older dude and had like plastic surgery. I don't know.
Anyway, I would say arguably the newest Olsen sister.
Yeah.
More successful currently.
She's really good.
Because what the hell are I haven't seen the Olsen twins in a movie or a Marvel series anytime recently.
I don't think they do acting.
I mean, I guess they don't need to.
Yeah.
They were forced into being actors when they were like
babies.
Straight
they were
out the
literally
womb.
like 6 months old or something.
That's insane.
Yeah. I love Full House, though, by the way.
Well, I know you do. You're a big Full House fan.
It's a great show.
Okay, so let's
get into it.
Let's get into it. That was my week. I had a crazy week. Yeah, you don't care, but let's go.
Whoa. Okay.
It's been a long day.
I know. I'm sorry.
You take a 5-year-old to the trampoline park.
I take the 5-year-old all kinds of places.
Not the trampoline park. Trampoline park is all sorts of other places on meth and steroids.
I know better than that.
Right,
okay, so today you're going to learn about garden gnomes.
Garden gnomes.
Yes.
Wow. See, every time, I swear I'm going to say this every episode. We don't smoke weed anymore, but wow, the mind still is.
No, this is by accident. I was actually looking up a different subject and came across this through a different subject and was like, you know what? I think I'm actually going to do this instead because it was interesting.
Okay.
Plus, I don't know. Do you know anything about garden gnomes?
No, I can't say that I do. I don't even think I see a garden gnome very frequently anymore.
We have one in our garden.
That's how little I pay attention to garden gnomes.
Okay. Well, anyway, they're everywhere.
Okay.
So,
they're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
Anyway, so I'll start.
There's some little garden gnomes at the trampoline park earlier today. They were annoying.
Well, these ones aren't annoying. These ones are silent.
Some silent garden gnomes would have been great earlier today.
So, okay, so we'll get started.
I'm going to keep referencing the trampoline park because it's bothering me.
Just get over it. Drink more of your beer.
All right, you're right. Okay, go ahead.
Garden gnomes are cute little men with beards and pointy hats that adorn lawns and gardens all over the world.
Okay, yes.
Does that ring a bell?
Very baseline.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the 1900s, this style of garden decor was being mass-produced, mostly out of German factories.
Interesting. German. They're German gnomes?
I think
are gnomes is that like a German thing?
There is a word for like they called them like little like dwarf people, and there was like a German word. I didn't include it.
Okay.
Because
you couldn't pronounce it.
I don't know. That's a good maybe. So anyway, the idea behind the cute little figures is that they will bring good luck and help tidy up your garden at night.
Okay, but they don't. They're just
It's
there.
An idea. It's like a fairy.
Okay.
It's like a magical.
So
idea.
Okay. So
can I just?
Yeah, but I'm curious.
Yeah. I'm
just.
All right. I think I'm a little scratchy because there's like a lot of pollen in the air right now. Like
That's
my
fine.
voice is scratchy.
It's okay.
Yeah.
No one's gonna be mad at you for having a scratchy voice.
It's bugging me.
It would be helpful though if those little garden gnomes would have cleaned up some of that pollen.
Very good point.
So they're not really living up to their reputation currently.
Very true.
So okay. I don't know. Maybe you'll get into this, but like the garden gnomes versus just like the whatever.
Oh, I know. Well, it has to be like in my face.
Scratching the new microphone. So okay, the correlation between like where do actual gnomes like the myth of
what's a gnome?
No, like they're okay, but there are gnomes like this. This has to be drawn from something. It's not just garden gnomes. Do you remember David the gnome? Did you ever watch that when you were a kid?
That doesn't ring a bell.
David
was
the
it
gnome?
A cartoon?
It was a cartoon. They were little gnomes. They lived in a tree.
Your head movement was cute.
Okay, all right. All right, okay.
So with what you're saying, though, you're actually getting somewhere. Okay. There is like a backstory as to like where the hell did these things come from?
Right.
Why is that like a popular thing to put in?
Because like leprechauns aren't real, but there's stories about leprechauns. There's got to be some sort of similar thing about gnomes.
There is. Well, it's a lot different, but there's a backstory. Okay, so there is some folklore and mythology behind garden gnomes, linking them to the elements earth, water, and air, and they are thought to be little earthly protectors.
Okay.
This is why we shouldn't drink beer.
Well, you're the one.
No, I'm not. I wanted to get a can of margaritas.
That would have been a bad idea.
Yeah, I know.
You would have got very slurry and belligerent by the end of this episode.
It had 12 servings. It looked really fun. It was like this big.
You need a giant can.
It would just hang out in the
garden
fridge.
gnome size can of margaritas.
Yes. Okay, but there is a much stranger history behind the idea of the garden gnome.
Oh, let's get into it.
Let's do it. By the way, this is a little bit of a short subject.
Okay.
So yeah, it might not be super long.
Then allow me to interrupt you with my inquisitive questions.
All right.
All right.
It is said that the idea of garden gnomes originates from hermits, and they can be traced back as far as the 2nd century AD to Roman Emperor Hadrian.
Okay.
Hermits.
Emperor. So gnomes are little hermits. Or sort of,
yes,
at least?
Yeah. All right. We'll get more into that, but yes.
Okay.
Emperor Hadrian, which I hope I'm saying his name right, was said to have hermits living in his gardens. 2nd century.
Wait, hold on. So a hermit has like some, because I always just thought of a hermit as like a reclusive guy, like a reclusive person.
So we're about to learn something about the hermits.
So we're going into hermits now.
Well, that's how the gnomes became.
There's a through line?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like I didn't like do a good job of like showing how this became what it is, but it is what it is. Well, you're going to find out.
This is why
it's just according to your wife.
Yeah, these aren't real historical facts.
Yeah.
They
are.
Well, but this is the story of gnomes.
Through my eyes and
this is the story of the history of gnomes, according to my wife, Babs.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's how we got the name.
Yes.
Okay, so by the 18th century, grottos became incredibly popular in England.
Wait, grottos kind of like, I only know of like the Playboy Mansion grotto.
Yes, me too.
Right?
Yes.
Which was just like a hot tub behind a waterfall, like in a cave. In a cave in the pool.
Yeah,
right?
so according to Merriam-Webster's
we gotta get a grotto.
Yes.
Wait, hold on. Garden gnomes and grottos?
Yes.
There's just little topless garden gnomes in the grotto?
Topless?
Yeah, that's the only grotto I know is the Playboy Mansion.
Well, just hold on. According to Merriam-Webster's dictionary, a grotto is a small picturesque cave, especially an artificial one, in a park or a garden. Also listed as an indoor structure resembling a cave.
Okay.
So
when did hot tubs and topless gnomes get involved?
Hold on. Not only...
Is there some weird connection to Hugh Hefner and the Playboy Mansion here?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay.
No. Right. Okay, so grottos became super popular in the 1700s in England.
Uh-huh.
And not only did landowners in 1700s England want grottos built on their estates, but they wanted them to be maintained and lived in by ornamental hermits.
Ornamental hermits, not just standard hermits.
No, ornamental.
Very shiny, shimmery,
bright
hermits.
in color. Yes.
Okay.
Hermiting was considered to be a type of profession.
Hermiting was a profession?
Yes.
You could be a professional hermit?
Absolutely.
You could just sit around and watch Netflix all day and get paid for that?
Yeah, in the 1700s.
Wouldn't that be crazy, though? Like, if that was a career path now? Like, I just want to be a hermit?
That would be so weird if we brought that back.
Let's bring back professional hermiting.
Okay, I'm all in.
All right, cool.
All right. Contracts were even written out, and the rules were very strict. There were contracts.
I'm sorry. I'm contractually obligated to lay on this couch in my underwear and not do anything.
Absolutely.
Damn, we really have gone downhill as a society.
I know.
That was a profession?
This was a profession, yes.
Man, now we got people moving around pallets and warehouses. We could have just been living in a cave.
Yeah. Well, it's not that great. The hermit was not allowed to leave the premises, nor allowed to speak to anyone for 7 years.
I don't understand the purpose. Like, what? I don't understand. They're like, I want this grotto.
Yeah.
It's got to be on my property.
Yeah.
Got to have this grotto.
Yeah.
But I'm going to temporarily enslave this hermit man.
Yes.
And not talk to him for 7. For what? For what?
Well, okay. So back in the day, really rich people, like, for instance, like nowadays when you like own a lot of stuff, it's like, oh, look at my big TV, look at my pool, my hot tub.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have things like that. So like a way to entertain their guests at parties was like, look at my grotto.
So they would chill, they would hang out in the grotto, but they
would go down into the grotto, yeah. And there would be like a hermit.
But like Gary the hermit, would he would just be chilling in there, or would they be like, Gary, you got to get the fuck out?
Yeah, but he wasn't like allowed to talk to anybody. And I read one account that he would just be like sitting with his eyes closed.
Weird. That would be a weird party.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if you went to like a really nice mansion party in Beverly Hills and they were like, dude, you got to come check out the grotto. And you go in there and there's just some weird old bearded,
this was
Rick Rubin looking guy just with his eyes closed.
This was a big deal. Like, this was like all the rage. Is that
Sure. Yeah. All the rage.
Yeah. This was like a big deal. Like, if you were an elite, you had a grotto and you had a hermit, and like everyone wanted to go to your parties.
This is so weird.
This was a big deal.
I think of a hermit. I think of just like a guy that lives by himself in a cabin in like the outskirts of Big Bear.
A lot of that has kind of transformed into what we now know as a hermit, but it makes sense because of the way that they had to live their lives. Yeah.
Okay.
So during this time, the hermit was not allowed to wash himself. He was meant to let his hair and nails.
But you're gonna entertain people in the grotto.
He's not necessarily entertaining.
No, I know, but but these rich people, they have the grottos so that they can, like, if they're having a party, they go come check out the grotto. But they got some old unwashed.
This is just part of what they want.
Hermit that smells like ass and balls, dude.
Yes.
Who wants to party in that room, dude?
They all did. Yes.
Dude.
He was meant to let his hair and nails grow as long as they could without being cut or trimmed. This included his feet as well.
Oh.
Some land, I know.
For 7 years, how long must the toenails have been?
A long, I don't know. I don't even know.
Do you remember those episodes of like Ripley's Believe It or Not,
I
or
loved that show? Yes, the people with the
curly
nails.
Oh,
how do you do anything? How do you eat? How do you wash your hair?
Why?
How do you sleep?
But what? But why?
I don't know. But they curled.
Yeah, and they were just like they were heavy.
Yeah.
It looked like their wrists were sore from just carrying the weight of their disgusting fingernails.
Yes.
So these hermits, that was.
They probably looked scary.
Okay, so they weren't allowed to talk. Yeah. They weren't allowed to shave, wash, bathe or trim their nails.
Yeah.
I don't understand why any of these stipulations exist.
I don't know.
Hey, I'm going to give you this job. You're going to maintain my grotto, but there's some pretty strict rules here. Why? What's the motive?
I don't know. Because England.
Because England. There was
some weird stuff.
Because England.
1700s England.
Yeah, I guess there was some weird stuff going on there.
Things were strange back in the day. Like if you read some like historical accounts of like entertainment and just different things people did for fun and other purposes, like I don't know, life was weird back then. Life was real weird.
Hermits, dude.
Yeah.
Hermits.
Yeah. So some land owners did not permit their hermits to wear shoes, which obviously they probably couldn't because their toenails were so long.
Dude, these grottos must have smelled like shit.
Yes, the grotto.
I mean, dude, do you think like like if someone time traveled from back then and then like witnessed the modern version of a grotto, would they be like, "What the hell is this?"
Yes, they would be like, "This is very."
They'd be like,
prehistoric.
They'd be like, it doesn't smell like ass and balls in here. Where's Gary?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
you mean time traveled forward?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant back.
No. Time travel from the 1700s, like.
Oh, they would be so confused.
So now they'd be like, this is not a grotto.
Yeah.
They'd be like,
there's like graffiti and.
Where's Gary's fingernails?
Yeah. Ew. No, he's not allowed to cut them.
Oh, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
7 years. Could you imagine not cutting your nails for 7 years?
I can't imagine that at all. They were to wear tunics and provide appropriate melancholic ambience.
Melancholic ambience?
Yes.
What did they do? Were they playing Radiohead?
No, because they were unkempt, sad, lonely old men, and it's like that's kind of like the thing back then. Like there was like for instance, this is not the 1700s, but like people wanted to look like they had tuberculosis in certain times. Did you know about that?
No.
It was like the fad. Like, oh, you've got that like dead tuberculosis.
That was like the heroin chic,
but it was
the 1700s.
Yes, and so like they liked weird life struggles like that. Like that was like a thing. Like, oh,
it's kind of hippie-ish.
A little, but it was like way pre-hippie.
Well, yeah, very pre-hippie.
Yeah.
That's so weird, though. Ambiance?
Yes.
Hey, Gary, we're really going to need you to provide some melancholic ambiance.
Can you cry, but like don't make noise?
Yeah. Can you cry silently?
Yeah. Yes.
Can you smell a little bit worse, Gary?
Yes.
I haven't been in the grotto in a few days, but I feel like maybe you gave yourself a little sponge bath.
Yeah.
This is so bizarre.
Weird, right?
Yeah.
This is why I did this, because I was like, what the hell?
I do love that you managed to do this. Like I would be like the history of as soon as you said the history of garden gnomes, I was like,
yeah. Your face.
How long is this gonna
I wouldn't choose it if it wasn't fascinating to me.
No, I know, but that's why I like the way your brain finds these things.
Thank you.
I'm just like I would. It's just something.
Yeah.
I don't investigate things that I'm actually interested in this deep.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, I love to learn. Like I feel like as long as my brain is capable of like retrieving information and like holding on to that, like I want to always be learning. There's so much stuff.
Yeah. I mean, you have to keep learning.
Well, yeah.
What's the point of being alive if you're going to stop learning?
Well, a lot of people don't care, I feel like.
It's such a weird thing to me.
It is.
Like, how could you, I mean, at a certain point in your life, how could you be like, oh no, I've already learned and experienced everything I need to, like, what?
Yeah, no.
Why are you still doing anything then?
Exactly. We're
Some
here.
people just want to exist.
Well, not only do I love to learn about things, you know, just in general, like history, and not just history, but also like science and everything. But I think the thing that's fascinating to me is that like we live a certain way, but like people didn't always live this way. And like I'm fascinated with learning about different ways of living, cultures and time periods. And it's just crazy to me. Like we could never live the way some of these people did in the past.
I kind of want a hermit though.
Okay, some landowners could not afford hermits, so they staged areas to look as though their hermit had just left. Yeah, because it was a big deal. They were like, I got this grotto, but I can't afford the hermit, so we're going to make it look like my hermit.
This is so funny that this was
a thing.
Owning a hermit was like some weird 1700s equivalent to having like a really nice Mercedes.
Or like a tiger.
They just lied about it. It was like it's like my BMW's in the shop.
Yeah.
That was their story. Like, oh no, don't worry. Gary's here.
That's exactly what they were like, yeah, he's just like, you know, like
don't worry, hermit.
Something. He went into town because his toe was like infected, or I don't know. I don't know.
My BMW's in the shop. No, my hermit's in the shop.
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah. No, he'll be back.
The hermit's job was to maintain the garden and provide visual entertainment for the landowners. That's what that's what they were hired for.
Entertainment has come a long way. I get bored with Netflix.
Yes.
Like I'll sit there and scroll on Netflix and I won't find anything,
and
I'm
just an old guy in a tunic, and like he's not doing anything.
Just standing there smelling bad, looking dirty.
Yes.
And they're just like smoking a cigar.
Yes.
Like, wow, look at this, huh? We sure have come a long way.
How like degrading is that though? They're like super rich and like living in these crazy abbeys and like giant homes, and they're like, we want you to look as poor as possible.
Would you mind looking quite poor and
dirty?
Smelling awful?
Yes.
We shall pay you.
Yeah, exactly. What?
Dude.
I know.
You ever sometimes just sit and think about how, like, awful humans are?
Humans are the worst.
Like, we are the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
Like, we look down on, like, animals and... Like,
oh, yeah. We're like, oh, you're such an animal when someone's, like, a bad person. And it's like,
but really,
wait,
it's like,
what?
oh, you're such a person.
Yeah, exactly.
Just being a person is worse.
Yes.
Ugh.
So by the late 18th century, hermits fell out of popularity and slowly became a thing of the past. Basically,
the hermit industry just collapsed.
Yep, totally.
How bummed would you be if you're like, man, I just spent 35 years
yes. These guys are like 70
in being a hermit, and now it's just not fashionable?
Yep, nope. So basically, it was a fad of the very rich, and it was a must-have fashion accessory in your garden until it wasn't, which is sad.
Poor Gary, dude.
Why is his name Gary? That's so not a 1700s name.
What's a 1700s name? Henry?
Francis?
Harry?
I don't. Is there Harrys? No, probably not.
No, Henry though. There was a lot
Horace.
of
There were Horaces.
Horace.
I actually know that because in my family tree I found a Horace and I thought it was Horace, and I was like, what? We have Horaces?
You're like, what? Horace.
And then I found out it was actually Horace.
Horace. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Poor Horace.
I know. The garden
he
hermit
spent his whole life dedicated to smelling like shit.
Yes. And then for what? For nothing. To just be turned out because they're like, ugh. We need something better in our garden.
Can you imagine that? That's like, it's just really like he just has to give up all his hopes and dreams, get a haircut, trim his nails, go get an office job.
He had to get a real job.
Poor Horace.
Yes.
He was living an easy life, dude.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have to do anything. He just had to provide melancholic ambiance.
Yeah.
Now he's probably out in a field just like pitchforking hay.
Yeah, breaking his back.
God, man. No one ever thinks about Horace.
No, but we will now.
I would like, we need like a hermit. We should put pictures. No, hold on. Hear me out. That would be cool actually if we had like picture representations of the topics that we.
Oh, you mean like for each one, like it doesn't get left up there?
No, like it gets left up there. Like it eventually becomes like a crazy like mosaic wall of like all of our random topics.
I don't like that idea.
Well, fine. I think it's a great
I think it's
idea.
actually a better idea to have like in school they used to pull the thing down and do the projector.
You want our podcast to be like an elementary school projector?
No. I just picture,
it's just all
you
crappy.
The idea.
This was your idea. It's all crappy. Like your hand goes into the projector and
like shakes a little bit. Do you remember that used to happen? This was your idea.
That wasn't my idea.
It was.
My idea was to put. I wanted a picture of Horace.
Yeah, but I don't want so we're gonna come in here and it's just like a mosaic.
Yeah. Yes.
No, I like the dogs.
We're not. I didn't say we're getting rid of the dogs.
Okay. Well, anyway.
Okay. How about this? His name is now Horace.
No, it's Leonard. It's Lammy and Leonard.
I prefer Horace.
It doesn't matter. So the garden hermit later became the garden gnome. And they still fall out of style every so often, but they always seem to find their way back into popularity.
Wait, hold on though. But okay.
So people that liked the idea of the garden hermit, somebody at one point had them turned the idea of them like a little man into terracotta, and they were eventually painted, and they were eventually turned into a garden decor, but they are no longer a actual human being.
So, but it started as garden hermits.
Yes.
So the original garden gnomes were garden hermits, but the original garden hermits were hermits like Horace.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So if you are at all interested in learning more about hermitage, there is an entire book written on the subject by a Mr. Gordon Campbell.
Oh, Gordon would have been a great
hermit name. Yes, that's actually more of a 1700s name.
Okay, hold on. What are some good hermit names? So we got Gordon, Horace. You didn't like Gary.
I didn't like Gary.
I think Henry, because there was a lot of Henrys.
A good one. Henry's an old name.
Although there were a lot of King Henrys. So would there be
George?
But these are those are royalty names though. Would hermits have royal names?
I don't know.
I think Gordon is solid. I think Horace is solid.
All right, let's just stick with those.
All right.
My sources are lflscience.com, gardencollage.com, atlasobscura.com, Merriam-Webster Dictionary, and gardengatemagazine.com.
Okay. I got to admit, that was more of a history of hermits than garden gnomes.
This is where the garden gnome came from.
Okay.
It was originally a live man, and now it's a fake man in your garden.
I kind of want to bring garden hermits back.
I agree.
I don't want a little gnome.
I personally would be so scared.
I don't want a little gnome, a little beard and a pointy hat.
Yeah.
I want a decrepit old Horace with nasty fingernails.
Okay, so I actually did read a little bit about how they ended up looking all cute and like little bearded guys with little pointy hats. That actually is like a twist on how the gnome, after they were turned into like little like ceramic garden ones, Disney's, I think it was like 1940, whatever, is Snow White. The first movie that they made. That is how they kind of ended up like transforming into these like really cute looking ones.
Oh, they blended them.
Huh?
So they kind of blended these.
Yeah, they kind of were like, let's make them look super cute and like adorable.
So were original garden gnomes kind of scary?
I don't know. I didn't see a picture.
I want to see some historical garden gnomes.
I didn't see any pictures. That was one thing I didn't do, was like look up like me, because there's like this notorious garden, and like this guy had tons of them back in the 1800s, but like in the 1800s getting into like the 1900s, like people were like, we don't really like this anymore, so it's like not popular. So he died, and his daughters took over his land, and they were like, these are hideous, and they got rid of all of them except for one. So I'm actually kind of curious like what the one looks like, because that's like an old one.
But what are gnomes though too? Aren't gnomes? Isn't there like a thing about gnomes?
No, well, no,
it's like a myth or something, right?
Yeah, like I said, there's a mythological and a folklore, like kind of like
folklore. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yes, there is an aspect of that. You'd have to dive a little deeper. It kind of more comes from like the idea behind why we put them in our garden is the hermit background.
Hermit thing.
Yes.
But gnomes though, like actual gnomes, they were like, weren't they like little like magical forest creatures or something?
There is a lot more about gnomes in general, yes. But I was specifically diving into garden gnomes, not just the whole realm of gnomes.
Yeah.
There's a lot more about gnomes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's very interesting. I mean, I don't know. I would have never thought to dive into garden gnomes like that. And I never once questioned
why
the origin of the word hermit.
No, me either. Never.
Because the word hermit is just kind of used to describe like a kind of a reclusive old guy that doesn't talk to anybody.
And he's kind of disheveled.
His nails
are a little long and
not 7 years long though.
No. No, he might smell a little, but not 7 years smell.
If your neighborhood hermit had 7-year long fingernails, you'd be like, stay the hell away from that house.
Yeah. Well, so that's why I did it. I wanted to more dive into the garden gnome, not just like the idea behind what exactly is a gnome. And maybe I should have included a little bit more of that, but that's kind of going a little in a different direction.
Mm-hmm.
I was more looking for the hermit background and like the gnome that's in the garden, that you will drive by an old lady's house and there's a gnome. Like, why are those there? That's why.
Well, I now have a new life goal, and that's to have a grotto, and I would like to bring back hermits.
Okay.
I want a hermit.
I don't want a grotto.
Why not?
I don't know. They're weird.
No, but a modern grotto. You wouldn't want a hot tub in a little cavey environment.
Okay, I guess that's cool.
I want like a Playboy
The old
Mansion
grottos
grotto.
are creepy.
Well, yeah, Horace was in there smelling like shit.
They were scary. They like wanted them to look like real caves. Like, we're talking like dark, damp, scary.
Yeah.
That's not what I want.
No.
We want like LED lights and like
I want it to be a vibe.
heated floors.
I want it to be a vibe.
Yeah, a vibe.
I want it to be a vibe, man.
So,
But I would like a hermit though.
Okay.
I want like you know
can
how
have
people
the hermit.
like you know how people have their important Hollywood people, they have like their entourages and stuff.
You're gonna have your hermit.
Someone in my entourage is gonna have to be my hermit.
That's messed up.
They're gonna have
See,
to
you were
maintain
just
the
talking
grotto.
shit about the English.
But
going
now
like,
I'm
I'm
understanding. Now I'm understanding the value.
Wow.
Keep the grotto spotless
Okay.
and provide some melancholic ambiance.
Yeah, your ornamental hermit
Yeah.
will follow you.
Ornamental hermit.
Yeah.
I want a bearded ornamental man that
That's
makes
right.
everyone feel kind of sad.
Yeah. So
What a strange thing.
I know it is, and actually, it's kind of funny to think about like fads. Like, fads have always been a thing.
Well, yeah, but that in particular, odd fad.
Well, the rich have always been strange. Like the
Well, that's true.
super elite rich have always been unusual in their interests.
Yeah, but that one in particular, like,
That was like a big deal.
and it's just contractually obligated to not bathe for 7 years,
absolutely, yep.
maintain the grotto, and just make it sad and weird.
Yes. Maybe Horace had 7 kids at home with Henrietta, his wife. And he had to do that so he could make money because he was old and he had a bum leg. And
It's like the modern equivalent of like someone coming to America to like work a tech job and send a check back to their family.
yes.
But you just lived in a grotto and smelled really bad and didn't bathe.
Yes.
Oh.
So that's
Okay,
the
all right.
story behind the garden gnomes
Garden
/
gnomes.
hermits.
All right, garden
Yes.
gnomes. All right. Well, I think something about Melancholy Ambience
Yeah.
is going to have to be the title of this one.
That's actually a great name.
Horace and the Melancholy Ambience. Doesn't that sound like a hipster band?
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
That's
yeah.
like what's the one band? Oh God, I always want to say of Mice and Men, but it's not. That's not. Who it
No, I thought you were gonna say like the Ben Sharp and the whatever.
is. Yeah, Edward Sharp and the
Oh,
Magnetic
Edward-
Zeros.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Horace and the Melancholy Ambience.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's always someone in the background whistling.
Yeah.
and-
There's a
yeah.
guy playing a washboard.
spoons.
Yeah, spoons and a washboard.
Yeah.
It's like an old Americana band.
Yeah,
Okay.
I like that. Actually,
right.
I'd go see them.
All right, fun fact.
Fun fact.
Fun fact.
Fun fact. Okay, so
We're gonna have a little sound there for the fun fact.
that would be
I
great.
think I found it.
Yes, that's awesome.
Okay.
Okay, so the fun fact today is we're actually going to learn a little bit more about some of these grottos because I figured let's tie in some of this.
Okay.
So I found 2 really interesting ones. So there's a grotto that was found by urban explorers somewhere in England. I can't remember where. It was like
So these
Tallacher.
grottos, they were like actual caves, though. They weren't like.
No, they're man-made.
Oh, they're
They're
man-made.
made out of like cement and stone.
Oh.
Yes, I'll show you the pictures of this one in particular.
I kind of just imagined like these guys like conveniently finding land that like had
No,
a thing,
no,
and they were
no.
like, "Look,
These-
this would make a great grotto."
No, these families lived on estates.
Call
And
Horace.
if you've ever seen pictures of estates in England, like a lot of them are just like kind of flat.
Yes. Okay.
So they like, and not all of them were flat, but some of them were.
Mm-hmm.
And so they like sometimes would have like a building or something. This particular one had some sort of structure, and below the structure was the grotto.
Okay.
So I don't know. Anyway, so this
How close was it to the house, though?
I don't know.
I've been wondering that too. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, is it like at a distance?
That I don't know. I think it depends on the property.
Or would just like every now and then Horace would just
Do
kind of
you
like,
want Horace to live near or far?
you would just see the top of Horace's head in the bottom of your window.
Yeah,
and
that's
he just
scary.
pees on the side of your house or something.
Yeah.
Where did he go to the bathroom?
I don't know. I was just thinking that when you said that.
His grotto must have smelled like absolute shit.
Yeah, he might have had like a chamber pot, maybe. I don't know.
Old porta potty.
Yeah. Okay, so this particular one was found in England by urban explorers. It has been dubbed the Cyclops Cave. It was a creepy. Oh, it has creepy statues of a cyclops. That's why it's called the Cyclops Cave, because it's actually really scary. I'll show you pictures, and it's like terrifying. The cyclops that's inside the cave. Like, think of like walls made of cement, and there's like these faces and creatures coming out, and one of them's a cyclops, which
creepy.
Really scary.
Okay.
There's a ghost of death. It actually looks like a grim reaper.
Okay.
Coming out of a wall.
This is
very scary.
This is a whole new. This is just the Satan's grotto.
That's what I wondered. I was like, what are these people into? When I saw pictures of it, and I actually watched videos of like tours on YouTube, and I was like, this is so scary.
Yeah.
Why would you want that in your backyard?
Creepy.
Yeah. There is a.
I'd rather have the Horace.
Yeah.
The shit smelling Horace grotto than Satan's grotto.
Yes. There's a headless man. There's a table with legs. There's lions, eagles, and a dragon. These are all things coming out of the walls.
Okay.
There are walls covered in shells and glass bottles, and the ruins of the grotto are dark and have a somewhat evil feel to them because it's dark and creepy.
Yeah.
Outside of this grotto are also gravestones of nuns who lived on the property after the original family sold it to a nunnery. So if you walk around there, you will also find graves of nuns.
I don't like this grotto.
Yeah, this one's scary.
This is not the kind of grotto that you want topless Playboy models in.
Nope, not at all.
No.
But, I mean, at one point, this grotto was probably used for entertainment purposes during their cool, like, 1700s parties.
At one point, they were like, dude, have you been in Steve Satan grotto?
Yeah, yes. So sketchy. So there's another grotto that was found. This one's really cool. This one was found in England. Sorry. It was found in England in 1835, and it's known as the Shell Grotto. It consists of subterranean passages that lead to a rectangular altar room. That sounds scary, but
yeah,
it's just a room.
Okay.
The grotto is completely underground, and its date of origin is completely unknown, as well as its purpose. The grotto consists of approximately 4.6 million shells.
Jeez.
Yes, it's insane. If you look it up, it's so crazy. I wish I knew exactly what it was called, but I didn't include that.
Yeah.
It's like, because it's a place called like Margaret or something.
Okay.
Margaret, England.
Yeah.
But it's really cool. I guess it's known as like the Shell Grotto. So if you were to look it up, just look up Shell Grotto. The grotto is open to the public, and videos and tours can be found on YouTube, which me and Sophie watched, and it was really cool.
Cool.
Yeah. My sources for my fun fact are wikipedia.com and everywhere from where you are not, blogspot.com.
All right. Mm-hmm. Well, there you have it.
Garden gnomes,
grottos, hermits, Horace and the Melancholy, Ambience.
Weird 1700s fads.
Rich people have always been into weird shit.
Yes, they have.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, very interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you, Babs.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. All right. Well, guys, go follow us on Instagram at According to My Wife. That is the podcast. We haven't really posted anything on there, I guess.
Nothing.
We will start. We will begin. At According to My Wife on Instagram. You can follow me at Rick Martinelli Comedy on Instagram. You can follow Babs at bilbo.babbins.
Yes.
On Instagram. And if you are interested in watching me do stand-up comedy, go to rickmartinellicomedy.com for all my upcoming stand-up comedy dates. And we'll see you on the next episode. Bye.
Toodles.